Today's guests know firsthand the challenges of having a disability in the family, but they have turned their challenges into a ministry that is actually helping thousands. Let's get right into their story. Julie Hornok and Dr. Regina Crone, welcome to Healing Time.
Thank you for having us.
You're here because I love bringing people who do real ministry. Okay, they see a need and they say, I got to take care of that. Okay, and Jesus assigned you to a place. But you ladies both have a story, we'll get in that in a minute, but you've taken your situations and the heart that the Lord has given to you, and you've actually encouraged so many families. So I'll start with you, Dr. Crone. Tell us what got you into this situation. Tell us a little bit about your story.
Sure. So I was actually introduced into the world of disabilities through my brother's diagnosis.
Okay.
And
so you grew up with it?
Yes. So I was 12 years old when he joined our family, and he was the youngest of 5 siblings. So I really got that teenager kind of perspective, and I definitely saw the difference a diagnosis makes in the entire family system. Right. And just to give you like an example of what that looked like 30 years ago, my brother was would have behaviors and would be frustrated, not be able to speak. He was nonverbal. When his feet touched the grasses, he would scream. He would sort all of his toys by color. He'd sort his shoes. He's like lined up shoes from the bottom of the stairs to the hearth of the fireplace before he even received a diagnosis. And so definitely my mom having to navigate even finding that, but the stress that it induced in our family was very evident. And I think the moment, and of course as a sibling, that doesn't come with a particular role. There's no kind of like what to do,
there's no rule book.
You're just kind of watching this unfold, and there's a lot of kind of chaos. There's a lot of confusion. And I just remember the day that I really realized, okay, something's not okay. And my brother was in the kitchen. He got frustrated. He started banging his head on the tile floor. Oh. And I just remember seeing him and thinking, why would someone hurt themselves? Why is this happening? And I feel this kind of anxiety. And I remember looking at my mom, right? My mom who's always had all the answers, my mom who's all-knowing. And I see on my mom's face, she's scared and she doesn't know what to do. And it was that first moment where I was just like, oh, wow, something's not okay. And I think that is the impact that had in my family, is just kind of throwing and tossing up all of our routines, everything we had known.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's having to be reshuffled. And I see my mom just on a mission. And I also, as a sibling and as a childlike lens, don't even know how to make sense of it at the time. And so, and had never even met another family like mine as a child.
Right.
So then you have also no reference, and, you know, there was no TV show showing you examples of what you're living. You're literally just living it in the moment and not understanding it.
Right. And back then there wasn't a lot of information.
Absolutely.
A lot of assessment tools, honestly.
There was no Google.
Right. There was nothing like that. Unless you had someone else who was going through it. You were alone.
Yep.
Which your mom probably felt and you probably felt. Okay. Julie, tell me a little about your story, and then I want to get into how this evolved.
Absolutely. So our story starts very similar to probably everyone's story. We got married right out of college, and we wanted to start a family. And so we had our first son, and then we had our daughter. And I would say when my daughter was maybe 9 months, we just started noticing something was different. Something, she didn't quite match up with her peers, and she would flip through books just for hours without any reading, or just kept going. She started lining things up. She started walking on her tippy toes. Any language that she had started to have that was babble turned into gibberish. She started flapping her arms, jumping up and down. And I think the final thing for me that made me realize something is not right is I just felt this loss of connection. And her eyes glazed over, and she stopped responding to us. And so she would be present always, kind of floating around the house. But if I said her name, or even if she was standing right in front of me and I was screaming her name, she just wouldn't respond. There would be no response at all. And so it was that loss of connection as a parent just devastated me. And so I jumped in 30, 40 hours a week trying to do all the therapy. Absolutely. And we received a diagnosis of autism. And at that point, our entire family just changed. We had all these dreams of, okay, we're gonna go to the park, we're gonna do play dates, we're gonna be super involved in church, we're gonna do all the things. And then we just weren't able to, and our whole focus changed on just helping my daughter become the best version of herself.
And I think that's really important, because when there's a special need, and there's all kinds of special needs, okay, so we're not going into one direction here today, because you all have those different ones everywhere around the world. But when there's a special need, it demands a lot more attention.
Yeah.
And all systems in the family, financial, spiritual, emotional, social, have to shift.
Yes.
And they have to adapt either healthily or unhealthily, but there's an adaptation that has to occur to be able to even moderately manage the symptoms that you're seeing, especially pre-diagnosis, you know, and not having an understanding of what you're dealing with, okay? But neither one of you ladies stayed in your own problem, okay? And that's why you're here, because people stay in their problems tend not to do ministry, okay? They tend to want it, which is fine for a season. But take me on your journey, and I want to hear your journey, Julie, and how that took you into what you guys are doing now.
So I think one of the things that faith really played, I think, just a huge part in growing up and who I am today.
We talk about Jesus here, it's okay.
Jesus, yeah.
Okay.
But seeing my mom, and I kind of like, when I think about my mom, she exuded resilient joy. And what I mean by that is through the tough times and the hard times, she was always seeking and pursuing joy, and she would always point to the Lord. She would always point to him and the little miracles, the little milestones, the connections she was making. And I just feel like as an adult looking back, I can see how she was resilient, and the Lord gave her that strength and perseverance, and she couldn't have done it otherwise. And seeing my mom go and really pursue and become my brother's voice when he didn't have one, and get turned away from provider after provider who said my brother would never talk, he would never go to school, he would never drive a car, he would never. She kept going.
Did she break all those curses?
She did. She kept going to the right
Not over my
person.
child, not over my child, right?
Yeah, and she just wanted him to meet his potential, right? And her love of that and pursuit of that, she finally found a lady who took a behavioral approach with my brother and taught my brother sign language. And when my brother learned sign language, he found his voice. And guess what? That head banging stopped, the stress in my family decreased. And I just remember thinking that lady saved my family, like as a teenager. And then it gave me, in that moment, it seeded in my heart the calling to really invest in families like mine. And I did that by becoming a therapist, and I get to work every day and do my dream job of working with kids.
Okay.
It has evolved into the Lord opening doors, and now I felt like I'm working with the kids, but I know there's the family behind it. What are we doing? And so we started with that.
We're gonna get to that.
Yes.
Because I want to hear Julie's journey, how you kind of took your situation and it kind of developed you.
Well, I think because I poured myself into and laser focused on my daughter and how to best help her, it really cracked open my personal struggles. And my personal struggles being the fact that I am a complete control freak. I have the ability to just try and do everything myself, not always relying on God. And I think when I realized that, I was exhausting myself emotionally, physically. I was not giving my husband the attention he needed. The other kids probably were suffering. And I really did walk in one day into a nutritionist for my daughter, and she looked at me and she's like, "We aren't even going to talk about your daughter. We're going to talk about you.
You're a wreck.
Awful."
You're a wreck.
Yeah,
Sometimes you just see someone to say that to you.
Yeah,
like,
I
seriously.
needed it to be said to me because it really made me realize I needed to take a step back, and I needed to start relying on God for him to put the path out in front of me, and I needed to follow him, let Jesus take the wheel, literally.
And some good self-care probably,
yes,
right?
and so then after exhausting myself, once my kids were all in school, I remember sitting in a parking lot and just praying like, oh my gosh, I have time for the first time in years. What do I do with this time? And just praying, God, how do you want me to use this? How do I take away the pain from someone else so they don't make the mistakes that I made? And I felt just that he was like, just do what you know. And what I knew is how to plan a really good event.
Okay.
And so I knew how to, okay, we're gonna bring these moms in and we're gonna give them rest and build community with them.